Alright guys, ICC Cup Fitz back here for more awesome Brood War. And spawning in the top left, we have the blue Protoss TaMoo versus against the pink Zerg. Spawning in the top right, on ground zero, it's going to be JS's Lodum. And again, I haven't really been able to find either of the clan names, but I'll put that back in for a second. The map is going to be Ground Zero version 1.2, I believe. Again, this is another... It said it was the Kespa official one, so I'm not sure if this was exactly played on ICC Cup or not, or as a private game, or just on ladder. Your main is pretty big. You have plenty of room to put whatever kind of tech buildings you really want. Your natural, pretty easy to secure. Kind of awkward minerals, but and the gas is kind of far away. But hey, whatever, it works. And your third is kind of awkward because you have this little choke area where you can hold off, but it's going to be kind of hard. Most players are probably going to opt to hold this off because it's kind of two ways, and you can't really hold this off because of the you can't put buildings on that little patch. And in this, since it's close positions, most players aren't going to take their third up here just because you'd be expanding towards your opponent, which means it's going to be much, much easier. So I'd expect, if it's going to be of a longer macro game, players are going to expand southward. So they don't expand toward their opponent. As that was a problem, or it wasn't really a problem last game, but it was, that's why he didn't take his third. And pool before hatch, just like what Mysticism did last game. We'll see if he's going to be going for an expand, or if not, we'll have to see. And, oh yeah, speaking of which, so we have JS, yeah, TaMoo is a Protoss. Sorry, I'm just looking at it. I have it written backwards on my sheet. So TaMoo, JS Lodum has JS. I couldn't find what that clan tag actually meant, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what that if that really means anything. If this is gonna be like a high-level clan game or not. Oh, I totally forgot. JS mode is Lodum. Is averaging 262 and maxing it like 396 this game. Still ridiculously freaking high. As for TaMoo, he's both identical openings again, just different map. Wow. From replay of the week number 3 of this week. Anyway, beside the point, double cannon actually. He's averaging 217 this game and maxing at 274. So not on the super high APM side, but that never means it's bad. If you don't really know, APM is like actions per minute, but even pro players, I mean, if you look at, it's more, you can view it a lot more in StarCraft 2. Not saying I prefer StarCraft 2, but in the replay section, you can look at like where they click on the map and everything. You can even watch pro games like live VODs of Koreans and stuff if you watch the player cams. You'll see that if they try to click, they'll click like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that could just be 1 or 2 or even just 1 to click that thing over, which would heavily reduce it. But to get up to like 400 is still ridiculously high, and that's a lot of credit to that. And that doesn't mean that they don't use all that towards specific things, but it's not always means like, well, he could do 400 freaking moves per minute, where he could select each individual ling and move, like select a ling and move it. It's like 400 lings and push on one spot. That's not what that really means. It means that he can click really fast. If there was some confusion about that, what's new in this stuff? Well, like I said, last game I've been kind of. Today is Sunday, like the last time I can get these videos up in time, theoretically speaking, or because it ends today, this replay of the week. But technically, I should get them out by like Wednesday, like best. Like finish recording and then upload them throughout the week. But the reason for that, I'll just repeat one more time, is to reiterate, is that I was playing Mass Effect 3 on my computer. Yes, StarCraft is not my life, guys, but I just wanted to note that out there. I'm not leaving you guys, don't worry. Wow, this is like identical to the last game. Force Routes expanded 2 cannons into Stargate, which is going to build Corsair into probably Charge Lot and losing. But as it is another ZVP, and it's not very similar to Fighting Spirit, except the third is not on the high ground, but they didn't even take the third last game, so we'll have to see. So there again is going to be taking that kind of Not that it's gonna be super difficult. I mean, as the Zerg is kind of like taking this, but you know, if he opted to go instead of Corsair, as I didn't in ZV, I don't see that many ZVTs. I mean, PVTs. No, I'm getting it all wrong. ZVPs. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I might have actually already said that. I don't see that many. +1 air weapon. Wow. What I'm trying to say is I don't see that many. So I don't know why he goes Corsair first, as it really didn't do much last game. Maybe because the other thing is he wasn't maybe very super active with his units either. He did get a couple Scourge last game, and he's getting up Scourge well. What was his name? Junie last game really wasn't that active. He had like 5 Corsair that he wasn't super active with. He even put them on patrol outside his natural, which, you know, to detect drops. But I mean, otherwise he wasn't really active like this guy. He's gonna be setting a Corsair, which is totally fine. It could be when I played Zerg at low levels, of course. I just know it can be very, very annoying to deal with that. Now I don't. If he went maybe what he could go is I don't of how dumb the unit is Scout. It's just I'm theater crafting here, obviously. But if maybe he went Scout and then went to this expand and maybe did some harass, force out some early Hydra. Maybe that just forces out Hydra earlier than he wants to. Doesn't let him macro up as much as he wants to, and then just continue Corsair production and then do whatever he needs to do. Just a drift off from the build, it may or may not work. I couldn't do it because it would require too much APM demand for me, as I can't even break 200 even when I'm spamming. So we'll see. It looks like it's also. I mean, just comparing these replay the week number 3 to 4, looks like. If this is going to be the standard for Koreans, at least, because they were playing on the Kespa official one again, and I believe they're Koreans, it looks like they get Scourge to deal with the Corsair. Because I don't believe you can out-micro Corsair with Scourge at least easily and efficiently. So we'll just have to see how that really plays out. I mean, he's also getting up a couple more cannons, a cannon or two, which is not bad. If you're putting 1 cannon down, it's not the worst thing. But the one thing I really couldn't agree with Junie was with just the massive amount of cannons he put everywhere. Like, you know, I don't know if he had to spend that 1,500 minerals on like shield upgrades, defensive upgrades to get him out faster. That might have played a big different last game, as he really only had +3, which is not bad. But we'll just have to see how it really goes down. We'll be seeing. Be getting Storm. Looks like he's gonna be going for more of a 2-gate pressure, maybe 2-gate timing push with just Corsair. Will he constant Corsair production? He will. We'll be getting up those High Templar, and he should be seeing that. Nothing out of the too crazy. But he looks like he might actually be able to do some damage to this expand. But he will be just in time for that. That wall off is pretty secure, and there's really no way to. Ooh, he will lose only 1 Corsair though. Yeah, that wall off is really tight. He might lose a Corsair in trying to pick off that. No, he will not. Will that supply block the Zerg? It will slightly, but he'll already have 2 more Overlords on the way, and it looks like he might be doing a link counterattack to the base. Wants to be a little careful not to lose either of these High Templar. They are out in the open. No. Wow, I'm actually surprised. It looks like he was gonna try to take that expand, which I'm surprised by, because that just takes it that much longer to get down here. But it looks like the Zerg is just kind of pretty good wall off right here. We'll be trying to target the Spore Colony. We'll be getting quite a few Overlord kills now. This is super frustrating for the Zerg. And it will go down, so you might be able to out-micro this if he really wants to. I don't really know if it did delay mining at that at least. It looks like it's just going to be being very aggressive, not being passive at all. And the benefit to this non-stop aggression is that he's not forcing out Archon right now, and he has enough for Storm now. Is Storm complete? That's the most important question. It should be done. He will be able to get off a couple Storms, so because he doesn't have a Robo Bay out right now, which is a nice way how this build ends up working, as he will be able to get those Storms out in time. But he wants to be careful not to lose this +2 upgrade going down right now, +2 attack. 2 more gateways, and still no robo facility out right now. Actually, no, there it is. There it is. No observatory, though. That's another thing. Will he be getting it out? It looks like he's just going to go for the, you know, the normal no observer build, but oh, he did have to cancel that. Oh, that's really bad. We'll get up another cannon just to make sure that, you know, that another drop doesn't come in. A lot of Scourge coming out, and not, oh, there he goes, his expand. And Zerg will be getting up the normal. It's a little later. I like to say like 10 minutes, like sub 11 minutes is probably normal for Hive, but some players will get it by like 9 minutes and 30 seconds, I've started to notice. But we'll see how that comes really down to preference, I guess. How fast I want to get up the Defilers. I know for me, I wait the longest time to get up Spellcasters because it requires that 8 p.m. task, which I just really don't have for myself. In StarCraft 2, it's different, but again, I like to compare them, but a lot of people don't. Maybe that's just a bad thing for casting, I feel like, because, I don't know. Looks like it'll just be running another Zealot, not going to be doing too much. We'll be going a lot in the Creep Colony, and how it kind of looks kind of opposite, where the Zerg is kind of playing a lot more defensive right now than the Protosses, which I like. If you're going to be able to put that Zerg on the back foot, which you need to do, and now he's spending all these resources and putting down a creep colony. It makes 125 minerals to make a spore or spore or sunken colony. So you just have to keep that in mind for that. He will be a 4-base, which is going to be kind of hard for the Protoss to deal with. I will not lie. He needs to do kind of some damage, or at least take his own expand, which it looks like he will be doing. I'm surprised that he's going to be taking this expand. Looks like I'd rather much him taking this expand, but we'll have to see what's going to be happening. He will have a fairly decent army to supply tab. Wow, the Zerg is really behind in supply right now, and he is supply blocked right now. This could be pretty devastating push right now. If it's really not left, we'll have to see. Will he have Observer? Yes, he will. But it really comes down to the positioning of the Zerg and really positioning of the Protoss. Ooh, there's a lot of Dragoons. Upgrades are towards no, they're about equal in the upgrades. We'll be losing maybe 1 or 2 Overlords, which will supply block him further, which will make it much harder to deal with. Maybe I should just shut up when a battle's happening because I get it all wrong. Wow. Oh no, that's just alarm. I thought his whole armor just died for a second. It's going to be 150 to 82. So Zerg was able to hold it off fairly efficiently, but that's because he did have a lot of turrets up, and that's why. That's probably it compensates for it. The lack of supply was available in the Sunken Colony defensive structures. This is why it's most likely to be able to hold that off. Instead of having like 150 army, that's going to be tough. Especially if he didn't notice. Oh, and it won't be on stop. He should know about that and should be able to clean it up with no problem. The worst is when that happens. If I've seen a couple games that I've never casted before, but what will happen is that the Zerg will put I forget. It's a technique to deal with lurkers. That's gonna be good for him with Dark Storms. What you do is you drop lurkers behind a mineral line, for example, and then you keep on like hold position or whatever, stop them, and then you just let them all attack the probes at once, and it just devastates everything. And again, it seems to be very difficult in Brood War. I've seen it notice to break a defensive opponent. It seems like it's like tower defense in a way. It's kind of hard to get in these choke points. It's so hard to do it, and I mean it's a way Brood War has kind of evolved, I feel. Because if you had, I mean, at first when there was no pro scene and you kind of just had the default for RTS maps, like every RTS does have, the skirmisher maps, like your bases were like in the middle of like in the open, like they were in the middle of the map. They had sometimes they had 3 mineral patches, and there was like no way to defend them. Here now you're gonna have these smaller choke points where, it's much easier to defend. And I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just harder to deal with. It's much easier to defend off things. But I mean, these drops are still proving to be very difficult for our opponents to deal with at this point in time. We'll have to see what the Zerg can really do. If the Protoss should be just fine off 3 base as long as he doesn't get completely harassed out of... Yeah, pretty much. As long as he doesn't get completely harassed, he should be okay. If there was an X amount of drop, I think that's kind of what hurt hurt Junie really bad last game was, you know, he was doing fine up to the point where his third just kind of got taken out. Will these cannons really be able to hold off? It looks like it might, especially with his army here to just back that up more. Also, I did notice that, unlike Junie last game, TaMoo is going to be going for much more heavy Dragoon style, which might be better, might be worse, depending on how you look at it. But he's going much more Dragoon heavy. And they're pretty much like bigger, beefier Hydra that are just dumber. That's pretty much the best way to explain it. And the good thing is he's going to be able to get these Overlord harasses also where, you know, where the... oh, are these going to have stuff in them? No, dude. Just kind of letting those Overlords die, which will supply block them further. The Zerg hasn't really been able to get ahead of the Protoss in supply. It's 187 to 117. But if you noticed last game, I didn't point it out because I didn't think it was that important, but as the Zerg, I mean, you need map awareness somehow, and Overlords are a cheap way to do that other than Lings. Especially because, he didn't accept this. If you're going heavy, you know, like Archon Zealot, where you're not really gonna have much anti-air, especially, I mean, Overlords. They're kind of beefy by themselves, and they won't really stack up that much unless you're kind of purposely stacking them for whatever reason you want to, because you're cool like that. It won't do as nearly as much damage to the Archon, so they'll live a lot longer, and they won't really be target fire that much. But if you have, you know, like 20 Dragoons in your army, and they're upgraded with +2, we'll be getting +3. We'll see. We'll be getting +3. Just started. Those Overlords are going to die instantaneously, because, I mean, these guys do 25 damage right now, or 24. I mean, like, 8 Dragoon shots were like one shot at 8 Overlord, I believe. So they will die a much more quicker death, and which will just supply block him further. Because he's already in the situation where he doesn't... That's where an Archon would do a lot of damage. And it looks like he's going to be doing a drop, too. I love that sound effect. Other than, like, nom 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 nom, I'm going to pick you up. I don't know why I like that sound effect, but that's cool. I'm surprised, though, as I've been talking, Protoss has really had that center map control, and he hasn't really been expanding off this. Looks like he finally might be over here. And this is what he exactly needs to do. He cannot let the Zerg take these risky expands. It will fall, actually. Plague does go off, which will soften up this armor quite a bit. They'll pretty much do like 60% of damage. So now these Dragoons have like 60% less HP, I think, if I did the math correctly. We'll be doing another drop. This is what really hurt the other Protoss in the other game. And we'll be continuing another drop over here. No, it won't. No, I'll have a couple links in here. But this is what really hurt him in the other game. Will he even have Storm over to the Storm? He won't. And Protoss is really out of position here, and he won't have... You know, another Theorcraft idea is if he's, if he didn't make as many, you know, Archon, for example, as he's seeing that his opponent isn't going super mass Ling heavy, he could be going, like, an Arbiter, a defensive Arbiter, to recall back in scenarios like this. Just an idea. But, you know, I mean, Brood War's been out for so long, people may have probably tried that and may just not have worked, but we'll have to see, as Arbiters are really far down the tech path, and it takes a while to get up there. Unless you're going strict for it, but he will be losing a lot of gas-heavy units, just kind of letting them to die, and, ooh, this could be kind of bad. Not the drop, but if he does lose all these, ooh, that could be really bad for the Overlords. It's 176 to 161, so Zerg is still back in this game. We'll be trying to do another counterattack over here, but it looks like he'll be just fine for that, and he'll be able to keep his new third. His fourth could be vulnerable, though, if he's not careful. And we lose, ooh, and that will just supply block movement again. 173 to 170, so Zerg is not out of this by any means. I'd say that push was probably very good, considering the fact that, you know, Protoss... Now, what would be off of 2 base, I guess, would be off of 2 base, but now it's off of 1. Until this base... Oh, and here's another death drop. This could be pretty bad. With the Zerg, the Protoss is in a bit better position. He looks like he'll be getting a good. Looks like so cool on the minimap when he has such a good concave. Will he be able to deal with this? That's the most important thing. Dark Storms do go off. Not the best Dark Storms I've seen, but regardless of the fact, he will be getting quite a few probe kills, and we'll have to see. Will he be able to get good storms have to deal with those lurkers? Yes, he will. But we'll be denied. Ooh, ultras are here, and could be doing a lot of damage. Nope, no, they're like, you know what? I can't really get like giant claws in there to deal with that. Can't really get my like big husks out and stuff. And these have full energy. These could be back in the main army doing a lot of damage. They are full of energy, which will be, I believe, enough for at least 4 storms, if not 6. I'm not quite sure about that though. I know they have enough for 4. I'm just not sure about 6. Another link drop in the main. He should be spotting this, theoretically speaking. Will he? That High Templar's like, you know what? I'm gonna be a boss, and I just can't get out of here. But he doesn't really have much defending his main right now, except for a High Templar that has full energy. But I don't really know what he's gonna actually need to kill right here. We're getting a little pylons, spot blocking maybe. Not too much. And there's gonna be a lot of Zerg units coming up. 5-3 ultras. That's gonna be pretty hard for him to deal with. His main is being pretty much uncontested for right now. I don't know what happened to the High Templar. Just kind of chilling there for a minute, and we will have a big engagement in the center. We'll be able to deal with this. Oh, he does have a good surround on the Zerg, on the Protoss. Darkstorm does go off. Looks kind of tiny in this kind of battle, but why isn't he engaging? Why is he just on the move command? No! Oh, that's pretty difficult. Ooh, Mass Ultraman. Ooh, this might be just. He doesn't have anything left. I'm surprised. Protoss, I thought he was doing very, very well for this game, but Zerg is like, oh, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to come back. Oh, and there's the something. There's the GG, and game over. All right, so time for the FTG, or Fitz tip of the game, giving the one losing player one thing to work on. What do I even say? I thought he was doing so well that game. Again, I don't know if it's just the metagame specifically, but try to maybe put an Arbiter in your base. Maybe. Cannons, obviously, I've seen for both games that does not work. So I'd recommend getting either A, no, this is A, like either or. A, put more units by your expands. Or B, try to fear craft with Arbiter and see if that can help by mass recalling back to your main. Whatever your third would be, because I think this is one the Zerg normally pushes out, is try to take off your third. Specifically, put an Arbiter where your risky third would be, if there is a risky third, and if you don't have units out there. You could also try both, but I recommend doing either or. Putting an Arbiter, mass recall back, and try that. But again, I don't know if that would work, because you need 350 plus 150 to, I believe, research it, plus get the tech build. You need Fleet Bacon plus Templar Archives plus Arbiter Tribunal to get all that. Plus Starport, but you already have the Starport. Yeah, try putting the units in first. And that doesn't work, try Arbiter. But if you're going to be you just try it. If you make it the replay of the week, my friend, I'd love that. But beside the point, that's my Fitz tip of the game for the losing player. Great game by the Zerg. Or besides that, just try to deny the expand much earlier for the risky third. That's the other thing with the Zerg, is a lot more vulnerable early game when they take that risky third, because then they will first off lose that expand, and that's number one. Number two, they'll lose another hatchery where they cannot build more units. However, that will leave you a little vulnerable if you decide to fast expand out. But maybe one base Protoss against a fast expanding Zerg, it might be the right thing to do, and then expand off of that. Might be an option. Either one of those two things. But I'm rambling on for too long. So let's go to game number 5 fairly shortly. And Fitz is going to be out of here and out of your hair right now. Peace, guys.